Picture this. You are standing in a room full of strangers.
Yeah, that is always a little scary.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a networking event for your career, or maybe just a friend's dinner party.
Right.
Someone walks up to you, they hand you a cup of coffee, they smile, and, they open their mouth to speak.
And if you are currently learning English, your heart might beat a little faster right at this exact moment.
Exactly, because you know a question is coming. And the funny thing is, it is almost always the exact same question.
Every single time.
Yeah.
It is the most common starting point for connecting with someone new.
Right. Because before they ask where you grew up or what you do for fun, they want to know how you spend your days.
They want to know about your work.
They do.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to answer that, how to comfortably talk about your career, your daily tasks, and eventually your absolute favorite dream job, well, that is a huge milestone when you are mastering English.
It really is. It completely changes how you carry yourself in a conversation.
Yeah, you feel more confident.
Exactly. When you have the right vocabulary to explain your professional life simply and clearly, you do not just survive the conversation, you actually start to enjoy it.
And that is exactly what we are doing in today's deep dive. We are breaking down the essential English vocabulary you need to confidently talk about work.
So what are we looking at today?
Well, we are using a really fantastic 3-part educational series from a source called the Chill English Channel.
Oh, that is a great source.
It is. And this material is designed specifically to help English learners navigate everything from those casual party introductions to describing different work environments, all the way to sitting down for a real job interview.
And what is really great about these specific lessons is that they focus purely on practical, everyday English.
Right, no confusing academic words.
Exactly. They are not throwing complicated textbook terms at you. They are looking at the real simple phrases native speakers actually use every day to navigate their jobs.
So our mission today is to extract the most important concepts from these lessons. We want to make sure you can talk about your own career path with total confidence.
I love that mission.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start right at the foundation.
The very beginning.
Right. Because before we can talk about securing that ultimate dream job, we need to look at how native speakers actually break the ice in a casual setting.
And just for our listeners, breaking the ice is just a common idiom for making a new social situation feel comfortable.
Right, like starting a friendly chat.
Hmm.
And our sources point out a really crucial detail about how English speakers do this.
Yes, they usually do not ask, "What is your job?"
Right. I mean, that is probably the first thing you learn in an English textbook.
It is.
But in real life, native speakers almost always say, "What do you do?"
It has a very slight difference in grammar,
Mm-hmm.
but it carries a completely different feeling.
I have always thought of the phrase, "What do you do?" as a sort of secret handshake in English conversation.
A secret handshake. I like that.
Yeah, it is the universal accepted way to signal that you want to get to know someone better. But I am curious about the psychology here.
Okay, let's hear it.
Why is "what do you do" the default choice? Why does asking, "What is your job?" sound a little strange or, I don't know, robotic to a native speaker?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the English language focuses so heavily on action to define someone's identity.
Action. Okay.
Right. If I ask you, "What is your job?" I am asking you for a noun. I am asking for a label.
Oh, like a title on a tax form?
Exactly. It feels, a bit like a police interview. It's very formal.
Right, it feels too direct.
But when I ask, "What do you do?"
Mm.
I am asking about your actions. I am inviting you to tell me a little story about how you spend your time.
Oh, wow, that makes perfect sense. A label stops the conversation, but an action starts a story.
Yes, beautifully said.
It gives the other person room to talk about their daily life rather than just giving a fast one-word answer.
Exactly. And the sources provide a very clear, simple 2-step structure for how to answer that question naturally.
Okay, what is step 1?
The first step is establishing your location. And we use a very simple phrase for this, "I work at," and then you add the place.
I work at. So if you are listening, you just plug your location right into that short sentence.
Exactly. I work at a hospital.
Or, I work at a school.
Or I work at an office in the city.
It is very simple, but it instantly sets the scene in the listener's mind, right? They can picture the actual building you walk into every morning.
Right. And once you have set that scene, you move to the second step, which describes your daily tasks.
What phrase did the sources give us for that?
The text highlights a really versatile phrase. It is, "I take care of."
I take care of. Now, usually when you hear that phrase, you think of a parent taking care of a child. It sounds very warm and nurturing.
It does, and that is exactly why it is such a great phrase to use for your work. It implies responsibility.
Ah,
It
like,
shows that you are trusted with something important. The sources give some classic examples to show this. For instance, a nurse takes care of patients,
right, they keep the patients healthy.
and a vet, an animal doctor, takes care of animals.
Yeah.
But it applies to almost any industry, not just medicine.
Right, because you can take care of things too, not just people.
Precisely. You might say, I work at a tech company, and I take care of the computer servers.
Oh, I like that.
Or, as one of the examples in the source material points out, a chef does not just cook food.
Right, because a head chef manages the whole kitchen team.
Exactly. They take care of the kitchen.
I really love how that changes the tone. I mean, saying, I fix computers seems a bit basic or mechanical.
It does.
But saying, I take care of the servers, it sounds like you are the proud guardian of the company's technology.
Yes. It adds a real level of pride to your work.
So let's put it together. Someone asks, what do you do? And you say, I am a nurse. I work at a large hospital downtown, and I take care of the emergency room patients.
Perfect. You have just painted a complete, vivid picture for the other person using very basic, simple English vocabulary.
And once you have successfully broken the ice with that clear introduction, the conversation naturally evolves.
It gets deeper.
Right. You move past the basic daily tasks and start talking about the reality of your day-to-day life. You start talking about your environment and your feelings.
Which is really the only way to figure out what kind of career is actually right for you.
Yes. You have to know your ideal environment. The sources break these work environments down into three main categories.
Let's go through them.
First, you have people who work inside. This is your classic office worker, sitting at a desk, looking at a computer screen.
Then you have people who work outside. The text uses a great example of a tour guide.
Oh, right.
Somebody who travels to different historical sites, walks around the city, and talks to tourists under the open sky.
And finally, you have creative spaces. This would be like a photography studio or an artist's workshop.
Right.
You know, I tend to think of a job as a habitat.
A habitat, like for animals.
Yeah. Think about an animal in the wild. A polar bear needs the cold ice. A parrot needs the warm jungle.
Okay, I follow you.
If you put a parrot in the snow, it is not going to survive, let alone be happy. And a human worker is exactly the same.
That is very true.
We all have a habitat where we thrive. If you are someone who needs fresh air and sunshine, sitting inside at a desk all day is going to drain your energy. It does not matter how much you like the actual tasks.
That is a great analogy. Your habitat dictates your mood. And that directly connects to the specific adjectives our sources give us to describe how a job makes us feel.
Oh, adjectives. These are describing words, right?
Yes, words that describe feelings. The text highlights three specific words you should know: rewarding, stressful, and challenging.
Let's look closely at those because getting the exact meaning of these words right is super important for English learners.
Let's start with rewarding.
The text defines a rewarding job as one that makes you happy, usually because you are helping others or doing something meaningful.
Right, like a teacher helping a student.
Exactly. On the flip side, we have stressful. A stressful job makes you feel constantly worried, rushed, or just completely exhausted.
Nobody wants a stressful job. And then there is the third word: challenging.
Now, here's where I want to push back a little bit on how we categorize these feelings.
Okay, go ahead.
When people say a job is challenging, they usually mean it is hard.
Yes, that is the general understanding.
But if something is hard, doesn't that just mean it is stressful? I mean, can a job actually be challenging and rewarding at the exact same time?
This is a really common point of confusion.
Yeah.
But they are absolutely not the same thing.
They aren't.
No.
Yeah.
Stress and challenge are experienced very differently by the mind. If we look at how the source carefully defines the word challenging, it says it is something that is difficult, but it makes you better.
It makes you better. That is the key distinction.
Exactly. Stress just wears you down. A demanding boss who yells at you all day, that is stressful.
Right? That just makes you tired and sad.
But a challenge is like lifting weights at the gym. Yes, your muscles are burning. Yes, it is very difficult in the moment.
But you are growing stronger.
Exactly. Learning a complex new software program at work is challenging, but once you finally master it, you have leveled up your skills forever.
So, a job that forces you to grow, which means it is challenging, but also allows you to see the positive impact of your work. which means it is rewarding, that is essentially the blueprint for a favorite job.
It is the ultimate combination. And understanding that clear distinction helps you articulate exactly what you were looking for when you decide to chase your real passions.
Which naturally leads us to the most exciting part of the sources.
Discovering your ultimate dream job.
Yes. This is where we move away from just having a basic job to pay the bills, and we start talking about building a career around what you truly love.
The grammar and phrasing shift here. We stop talking about our current reality. We stop using I am or I work at.
Right, because we are talking about the future now.
Exactly. We start projecting into the future. We use phrases like, I would like to be, or my dream job is.
But the real trick here is explaining why it is your dream job. You need a reason.
And the sources suggest a very specific, simple method for doing this in English.
What is the method?
They recommend linking your personal skills or your deep interests directly to the job title. You use the simple phrase, I am good at.
I am good at. Okay.
The sources give a very straightforward example. I am good at math, so I want to be an engineer.
Oh, I see. It establishes a direct cause and effect.
Exactly. Skill leads to job.
Right. But it's not just about technical skills like math, is it?
No, not at all. The sources also talk about personality traits and passions.
They give a great example of a travel writer.
Yes, they do.
Why does someone want to be a travel writer? The text says it is because they love freedom. They want to explore every country and share those stories. It is a deep passion driving their career.
The second example in the text is a pilot.
Right.
The core motivation for the pilot isn't just knowing how to operate heavy machinery. It is a fundamental love for airplanes and the desire to fly across the ocean.
Now, if we are talking about taking a passion, maybe something you currently just do on the weekends for fun, like taking photographs and turning it into a full-time career.
Yes.
Well, the sources introduce a really fantastic idiom here. When your hobby becomes your profession, you say you do it for a living.
Yes. Do it for a living. You will hear native English speakers use that phrase constantly.
It is very common, right?
Very common. I take photos for a living, or I write computer code for a living.
I have always loved that phrase. It is like building a strong structural bridge between your weekend joy and your Monday morning reality.
Your passion is literally funding your life.
But honestly, it can feel like a massive leap to go from saying, I love taking pictures, to actually doing it for a living.
It is a big step.
How do the sources suggest we bridge that gap when we are talking to other people about our big goals?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it is all about owning your identity before you even have the official job title.
Owning your identity? What do you mean?
The structure the sources teach. Identifying your trait, like I love freedom, and connecting it to the goal, I want to be a travel writer. That is actually a tool for self-belief.
Oh, wow.
When you confidently state what you are good at out loud, you are building the foundation of your professional story. You are telling the world and yourself why you deserve to be in that role.
You are building the dream job from the inside out. You aren't just chasing a title, you are following your natural strengths.
Precisely. But of course, identifying the dream job and believing you can do it is only half the battle.
Oh, here comes the reality check.
Exactly. You still have to convince a hiring manager to actually give you the job.
Right. You have to sit in a room across from a boss and pass the job interview.
The job interview, just hearing those words can make your hands sweat.
Especially if you are trying to do it in a language you are still learning. That is terrifying.
It is. But the final section of our source material is completely dedicated to this. They give you the exact vocabulary you need to survive and thrive in that room.
The dynamic of an interview is entirely different from a party, isn't it?
Completely different. They are not going to ask, what do you do? Because, well, they already know you are looking for work.
Right, that would be a very weird question.
Instead, they are going to ask, why do you want this job?
And the sources are very clear on how to handle this. You cannot just say, because I need money to pay my rent.
Even if that is completely true.
Right, you have to connect your abilities to their needs. A great model sentence from the text is saying something like, I want this job because I am very organized and I enjoy working with a team.
It is a perfect sentence. You are immediately showing them the value you bring to their company.
And that naturally leads to the most common interview question in the English-speaking world.
What are your strengths?
Right. Strengths being the things you are really good at.
To help you answer this, the sources provide a list of highly effective skill words.
Yes, let's go over these adjectives. You use these to describe your professional personality to a potential boss.
The first word is organized. This means you plan things well, and keep them in order.
Then we have team player, meaning you work and communicate easily with other people.
Next is hard worker, simply meaning you try your best and put in the effort.
Creative, meaning you come up with fresh, new ideas.
Patient, meaning you stay calm when things take a long time
Yeah.
or when things go wrong.
And finally, reliable, meaning people can trust you to do exactly what you promise to do.
If you are an English learner heading into an interview, those 6 words are incredibly powerful tools.
They are like a highlight reel of your best qualities. But here's where it gets really interesting to me.
Okay, what is catching your attention?
Well, looking at this list from the sources, I want to push back on how we define a skill.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, I look at words like patient and reliable. Are those actually job skills?
Oh, wouldn't they be?
I mean, knowing how to code a website is a clear skill. Knowing how to perform medicine is a skill. But being a calm person or showing up on time, those just sound like nice personality traits. Why are they listed as core professional strengths?
This raises a really important point about modern workplace culture, and it is something English learners definitely need to understand.
Okay, explain it to me.
When we look at how businesses actually operate today, soft skills, which are these personality traits, are often valued just as highly, if not more highly, than hard technical skills.
Really? Being patient is just as valuable as knowing how to use the complex computer software.
In many cases, yes. Think about a high-end restaurant kitchen.
Okay, picturing a busy kitchen.
The head chef might have the most incredible knife skills in the world. They might be a cooking genius.
Right.
But if they're not a team player, if they scream at the staff and cause the whole kitchen to fall apart during the dinner rush, well, their technical cooking skills are completely useless to the restaurant owner.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean. The bad attitude ruins the good cooking.
Exactly. Or think about a brilliant computer coder. If they are not reliable and they miss every single deadline, they're actually a problem for the company.
That makes total sense.
Technical skills can be taught. A manager can send you to a class to learn a new computer program in a week.
Right.
But it is incredibly difficult to teach an adult how to be reliable. It is almost impossible to train someone to be naturally patient under pressure.
Oh, that is such a great point.
Employers know this. They're not just hiring a pair of hands to do a task. They are hiring your entire personality.
So when you sit in that interview chair and tell them, I am organized and reliable, you are not just making small talk.
Not
You are hitting on the exact qualities they're desperately looking for to keep their team running smoothly.
You are proving that you are a safe, valuable investment for them. And if you communicate those strengths clearly, using those simple but effective English words, you're going to hear the final, best question covered in our sources.
When can you start?
The golden question.
And the text gives us the perfect, enthusiastic response. I can start next Monday.
It shows you are eager, prepared, and ready to dive in. It is the perfect conclusion to the hiring process.
We have really traveled a long way today. We have mapped out the entire journey of talking about your professional life in English.
You covered a lot of ground. We started by simply standing in a room at a party, learning the psychology behind asking, what do you do?
Right, and we practiced how to smoothly answer with simple phrases like, I work at, and I take care of.
Then we explored the concept of work habitats.
The inside, outside, and creative spaces.
Yes, and we broke down the vital difference between a job that is just stressful and a job that is truly challenging and rewarding.
From there, we looked at how to project our passions into the future, taking what we love, using the phrase, I am good at, and turning our hobbies into something we do for a living.
And finally, we walked right into the interview room. We learned how to advocate for ourselves by treating our personality traits, like being a reliable, patient team player, as the deeply valuable skills they truly are. If you are listening right now and you are actively learning English, I highly encourage you to take these specific phrases and practice them out loud today.
Yes, speaking out loud is so important.
Stand in front of a mirror and say, my dream job is,
Yeah.
or my greatest strength is. Your mouth needs to get used to the physical feeling of these English words.
Mastering these simple sentences will give you incredible confidence. They are the building blocks of your unique professional story.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought, a little challenge for you to mull over as you go about the rest of your day.
A rewarding challenge, I'm sure.
Always, think about your ultimate favorite dream job, the one you would do for a living if absolutely nothing stood in your way.
Okay, got it in my head.
Now, if you had to describe that dream job to a stranger using only 3 of the English adjectives we talked about today, which 3 words would perfectly capture it.
That is a fantastic exercise in getting to the core of what you really want.
And more importantly, think back to that party we started at. Think about someone walking up to you, handing you a cup of coffee, and smiling.
The big moment.
If they look at you tomorrow and ask, "So, what do you do?" Are you ready to tell your story?
With the tools from today, I think you are more than ready.
Keep practicing, keep speaking out loud, and most importantly, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It has been a pleasure. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.